Welcome to African True Life Story. From last edition, Mr. Alade decided that Ayoka, Ajayi and Afe will relocate with him to Arigigi, while Ayo, Adufe and the baby boy Are will remain with their mother in Eruga. Remember, Mr. Alade made it known to his wife and children that he will attend his convocation. Can he achieve this now that he just got posted to a new school? This is a true life story. The name and the location has been changed. Mr. Alade, an indigene of Akunkun village, was one of the few lucky ones in that village that attended university. When he graduated from the university, he was the only one among his siblings that moved from modern school to grade 2, then to National College of Education. He later proceeded to the university for his degree program. Mr. Alade's academic career has been hindered for lack of support from his wife. Otherwise, he might have achieved professorship. That's beside the point anyway. However, Mr. Alade was very proud of his academic achievements and informed his wife that he would attend his convocation ceremony whenever it was held. He told his wife to prepare as the program will require a week leave, so he will obtain a necessary permission from her place of work. 5 weeks after relocating to Arigigi, Mr. Alade came to Eruga and informed his wife and Ayo that they should start making plans as they will be traveling to Zaria, the northern part where he had graduated. Though the program was 3 days, the journey would take a day each way. Ayo was also informed that he will be going with them. The D-Day came. Ayo and his parents set out for the journey. So many things made Ayo to be excited for the journey. First and foremost, she was traveling to the northern part of the country to see a different tribe and culture and to witness so many things she heard and read about in her social study class, such as rocky hills, scattered savanna trees, long hot trails dominating the highways, the changing in weather within the country, and River Niger, which was the longest river in Nigeria. Not only that, Ayo had read about the historical background of the river and how the engineer that constructed the river was buried beside the river. And this same river was the river where Nigeria government generates electricity supply for the whole country and the neighboring country like Ghana, which she read in her social studies textbook. However, if she was lucky, she would see the train passing the rail on River Niger. But if not, she would see the rail, which was permanently there. But as luck will have it for Ayo, she saw the train passing through the rail on the river. Their bus passed through some villages where those who live there don't put loads on their head, but on their shoulder, which held Ayo in surprise. There was a massive rock formation standing like a guardian at the gateway to Abuja, called Zuma Rock. This rock was one of the things that excited Ayo during this journey. This rock was described as a rock with eye, nose, and mouth shape, which Ayo longed to see. This rock was very close to the express road where the bus passed, and it was a sight to behold for Ayo. Ayo, who had never seen an electricity pole with telephone line attached to it in her life, was seeing it for the first time along the road, asking her father what were the lines on the electricity pole meant for. And his father told him it was for telephone owners, which Ayo could not understand. After so many hours on the road, the bus stopped in a motor park and everyone highlighted to ease themselves. Some take refreshment and the journey continued. About an hour into the journey, very close to the bus stop, where commuters board vehicle to Kano town, Mrs. Alade, whose immediate elder sister lived in Kano town, suddenly kept quiet and started looking through the window of the luxurious bus they were traveling with. Coincidentally, Ayo looked at her mother and observed she was lost in thought. But consciously too, her mother noticed that she was looking at her and she said, "Ayo, this is the bus stop to board vehicle to my sister's house in Kano town. How I wish I saw her in this motor park and embrace her. But her place was too far from here. If not, I would have dropped off and check on her and join you tomorrow in Zaria. Ayo's dad, who understood what his wife was trying to portray, asked, "Will you drop off here and see her?" She replied lackadaisical, "Yes, I can drop and nothing will happen." Ayo noticed that all the passengers in the bus turned in her parents' direction, who were about to create a scene in the bus, which Ayo felt bad about. Her dad noticed it too and kept quiet, but her mother didn't care. She was so angry that she started hissing and talking alone for the rest of the journey. However, Ayo was so happy that her dad kept quiet and the whole situation was under control. On getting to Zaria, they chartered a taxi and headed straight to where they were to stay for the days of events in the university. Zaria was another word for Ayo, a village girl who was seeing everything for the first time. Their house was living in the university quarter. Before entering the staff quarters, the first thing that caught Ayo's attention was the beautiful decorated road map to the quarters, where cassia trees was planted in both sides of the road, which was a sight to behold. Not only that, the security men who manned the gate used 2 big blankets to cover himself when he was out from the stand to get their details before allowing them into the quarters. Moreover, the houses in the quarters were planned to be far from each other, which made it hard for them to hear what was going on in the next house, which was different from the cluster environment where they were coming from. The similarities between the houses were so much that even the decorative flowers in front of the houses were of the same type. All the houses were bungalows, painted with the same color. The only means of identifying the difference for the first-timer is the numbering on each house. All these and many more made the environment look like paradise to Ayo. All these houses were well painted with burglary-proof and mosquito nets on each window and the front door. Upon entering the house, the sitting room was twice the size of Ayo's family sitting room back at Eruga, which was big enough to occupy 2 sets of upholstery chairs, big dining table that can seat 12 adults, a colored television set with a bouquet and an aquarium. This glass container, completed with a tap water and filtration system, was designed to keep the water crystal clear. Not only that, this aquarium was designed with decorative stones and gravel to line the bottom with some variety of artificial aquatic plants and animals to make it picturesque. A deep freezer was placed beside the door, very close to the kitchen, while a giant refrigerator was in the dining. The floor of the sitting room was covered with rug, and Ayo was seeing all this for the first time, so the whole thing was very strange to her. The bedroom Ayo and her family were to sleep was the size of their living room in Eruga, which was very convenient for them. The sitting room curtains were in its full length, not like their curtains in Eruga that was halfway of the window. Not only that, when Ayo saw the dining, she thought that place was a permanent place for mini conference in that house, because in Eruga, whenever such was done, there is going to be a mini conference in that place. So Ayo was surprised that she and her parents were going to eat on that place, and it is called dining table. Ayo was excited as it boosts her morale, and is going to be part of her story when she got back to Eruga. The conveniences in this house amazed Ayo, because the tap water in the restroom was attached to her electric heater, so both hot and cold water is available. Shower, bathtub, sink, and a sparkling white toilet seat, which Ayo was taught how to use, were in the restroom. And what surprised Ayo most in this restroom was the wall clock that was hung on the wall. This family had 2 girls, Deborah and Dorcas, who were 6 and 4 years old respectively. These children were beautiful and well-mannered. They had good command of English language, unlike Ayo, who couldn't construct a single sentence in English. Initially, when they saw Ayo, they started talking to her in English. It was their mother that told them they should be talking to her in Yoruba language before they started doing so. The time Ayo and her parents were in Zaria was cold weather, so hot tea were given to them every morning and before going to bed at night, which Ayo enjoyed. However, Ayo was always at home with the baby Are, and she didn't go out of the house. They were accommodated because the family had a fierce dog and Ayo was warned never to step out to prevent possible attacks. However, on Thursday evening, which happened to be their fourth day and the last night in that house, their host informed Ayo's mother about a birthday party for a 3-year-old girl which they were going to attend, and Ayo should be allowed to go with them since she had been indoors since they arrived. After they were all dressed up, Ayo noticed another surprise. The woman drove them in her personal car to the party. What surprises her most was that was her first time of seeing a woman driving a car. The party was an evening party, so on getting there, the place was already glittered with lights of different colors. Though some places were dark with lots of well-dressed adults seated and drinking. On entering the sitting room, which was the venue for children, they were all dancing. It was just few number of children that were not dancing. Ayo sat down and was looking up and down, not participating in anything. Neither did she talk to anyone. Pencils, cleaner, eraser, and so many gifts were shared for all the children. On getting home, Ayo showed her gift to her mom. The following morning, the man that hosted them took them to the motor park. Ayo family returned to Eruga successfully, and the following day, Ayo's dad returned to Arigigi to check on her children. On getting to Eruga, Ayo started narrating story of how she saw and observed on her way to Zaria with Gbemi, the girl living with Miss Kuti. However, Ayo observed since they were back from Zaria, her mother left the earring she put on her ear while they were going to Zaria, which was a big surprise to her. She never expected that from her mother, who never joked with any of her personal belongings with her children. This earring was on her ear for weeks, and Ayo began to feel unease within because if she lost the earring, it's going to be like a story title, The Day I Will Never Forget. After 3 weeks of using the earring, one fateful morning during prayer section in the assembly ground, Miss Kuti came close to Ayo and removed the earring from her ear. Though Ayo closed her ear while she was removing the earring on her ear, she opened her eye to see her giving it to her mother. She shook her head in disbelief of what Miss Kuti did, but she also had a sense of relief because if the earring got lost from her ear, it's going to be another beating, verbal abuse, and possibly starving, which she was not ready for. But she was not happy at the same time because she was the only girl in her class who wasn't using an earring. Later in the evening, when Miss Kuti and Ayo's mother were seated on a bench in the balcony, Ayo hid secretly and was hearing what they were discussing, for she had made up her mind to know the reason behind Miss Kuti removal of earring and gave it to her mother at the same time. Not quite long into their discussion, Miss Kuti voiced out her intention. I removed that earring from her so she would look like slave, which she really is. Anyone who see her with such an elegant earring would think she is a human being. Ayo was shocked beyond words to hear such from Miss Kuti, so she wondered why the woman hated her with passion. Ayo's mother reply was a bit fair. I decided to leave it with her so she would look like human being because in her class I observed she was the only one without her earring, but that earring was expensive, which I don't want her to lose it. Moreover, she had not used an earring for a long time, and I don't want the ear hole to get blocked. That was the reason I wasn't courageous enough to remove it from her, since I don't have another one to put on it for her. Anyway, Thanks for removing it for me. I have kept it where I kept my original gold earring. Immediately, Ayo understood Miss Kuti's intention. Mind you, Ayo was using an oversized uniform. The uniform her elder sister Ayoka used 5 years ago. She didn't have a good sandal. Even her school bag was not the usual school bag like her classmates. It was her mother's old bag, which she has stopped using because it is old, tall, and tattered with one hand. The second hand has cut off. So that golden earring was the only good thing in her that made her look different from a slave indeed. With this character demonstrated by Miss Kuti, Ayo was convinced that Miss Kuti hated her with passion and did not want to see any good things around her. Can you imagine removing mother's earring from her daughter's ear, claiming she wants her to look like a slave in the midst of her classmates? This made Ayo depressed throughout that day, but she couldn't help the matter. Next edition. What did you think Ayo would do now that she was the only one without an earring in the class? Did you think Ayo class teacher, Mr. Olowo, who understands each people's challenges and always find ways to help, will do something about this? Watch out for what happened in Ayo's class.